Trending also on social media, a day without women. Just as dramatic as a day without immigrants, which no one even noticed. Women around America protesting today by taking a day off to, I guess, let everybody know how needy they are and trying to hope that people miss them if they don't show up for work. Fact is, though, nobody can really even tell. Nobody knows what point they're trying to make other than pointing to the fact that they're very needy. Maybe my next guest can explain something to me and calm down my oh-so-hot temper. Alyssa LaFange, welcome to the show. Good to have you. Did you show up for work today?
I did. I showed up for work. I did my best like I do every day, not only at work, but for my family. And I see that you showed up too, Dr. Gina. It's so good to see you.
You know, Alyssa, female CEOs today make about $18 million a year. Male CEOs, their counterparts, make about $10 million a year. I wonder how many of those female CEOs making $18 million a year made it by ditching work and majoring in feminist studies. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure they didn't. All of the women that I work with and have known throughout my life that I really admire, all those successful women have not done anything like this. Quite the contrary. They show up when other people don't. They step up when other people won't. And I'm sure the CEOs that make those big bucks have worked their tails off because that's what women do.
You know, they don't seem very concerned about, I mean, it's these same women out there advocating for this National Women's Day who are also not doing anything to fight Sharia law, for example, where radical Islamist men stone women to death and mutilate their bodies and behead their own daughters, even right here in the United States, where some of our courts permit this kind of torture. And it seems like these same women who are heralding the wonders of women today don't care at all about the women who can never show up to work, those that are aborted by the terrors of Planned Parenthood. Where is their voice? What about the angel moms who've lost daughters to illegal immigrants? Do you think now that all these feminists are so into this day that they're going to help pass any sort of logical reform alongside the things that Donald Trump is trying to do?
I haven't seen anything in any of the official literature for these women's marches that would suggest they have any tangible actions that they intend to take to help any of those issues. You can talk about honor killings. You can talk about the genital mutilation that happens, forced marriages. No culture or tradition or religion can justify those things. That's violence against women. And the women that we've seen in the streets today who decided to take off work are not concerned about those things. At least they haven't said so. It's not part of their platform. It's not part of any of the signs that I saw today. And I actually went out in Philadelphia in Center City this afternoon and spoke with some of the protesters that I saw. They were concerned with their own situations, which are, first world problems, really. They wanted, better pensions for the teachers' unions, and they were talking about equality, but they couldn't define it. So it's kind of strange to me because if we really want to look at women's issues today, we should focus on things like that. Modern slavery, AKA sex trafficking, that's over, 11 million people are caught up in that. Women and girls account for 55% of that. So those are the issues we should be talking about on Women's Day.
Yeah, but they don't. And frankly, they won't. And it just seems as though critical thought has fallen by the wayside. I mean, I guess we shouldn't be that surprised when feminist studies is actually something that people aspire to, that we've dumbed ourselves down to such a degree that we can't even think about the fact that, for example, you have 50-50 chance of being a woman. It's not an accomplishment. I tell my children this every day. A lot of things in life we end up being aren't an accomplishment. It's how God made us, okay? So it doesn't make you a hero and it doesn't make you a victim. But what it does make you is just part of the human race. And should we be worried about the greater world issues like North Korea or China threats or, the fact that our tax dollars are being wasted on this massive debt, our government is out of control, and President Trump's trying to fix all this rather than help him on the issues they do agree with him on? It seems like they just rather protest something. I'm not even sure they know what.
No, you're right. It's hyper partisan. That's the nature of what we're seeing right now. I also want to point out something that you said. women's studies and things like that, we always hear that flawed statistic about women making less than men. What we never take into consideration is that women make different choices than men. And since there are people that go to school, women, for women's studies, and you can look at the salaries of those people that would go into that profession, I don't think there's a high demand there. So of course you're not going to be getting paid what someone who went to school for psychology, is paid. But women make different choices, and therefore we have different, priorities. We have different outcomes, and it's not because of anything to do with our gender. It's because we make choices that are best for us and our families.
Yeah, like showing up for work every day and like doing what it takes to do the best we can by those we love, not based on gender or anything else. I'm just tired altogether of the identity politics. I think it's so divisive and destructive. So I want to know how you're going to celebrate National Women's Day today.
Well, you know what I've been doing all day? Like I said, when we first started this conversation, I went to work, I worked my tail off, I had a great day, and I came home, I made dinner for my family, I took care of my son, and when I'm done here, I'm going to go give him a bath and put him to bed. So I spent International Women's Day the way I spend every day, and that's focusing on my family and my priorities. And I think that's what all women should do. But I also think that it's important, like we said, to focus on some of the things that we don't necessarily talk about as much, that there are women out there that really do need help. And it's not the same issues that the people in the streets are talking about.
Yeah, and I want to point out, not all these decisions are easy. I know in your life alone, you and I have had some private discussions. Things have not been easy for you, but you've made responsible decisions. And every single time you've bootstrapped it, I've watched you climb another rung in that ladder, and I am so proud of you. Give that baby a hug from me tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
God bless you, Alyssa. All right,